Morning, everyone. This is just a continuation of what we started the other day, just a little more complex. This is like level 2. What we did with sequences on Monday was level 1. All right, no big introduction. I'm just going to jump into these. All right, these look like algebraic expressions, but this is actually a sequence. All right, the one thing I want you to notice that the minus x, negative x, doesn't change in any of these. So that's not part of the answer as far as this is sequence. The sequence to this is that each one is less 3. 4 to 1 is you subtract 3. 1 to negative 2 you subtract 3. So the difference, and this is a difference, is going to be negative 3. Going to go through these pretty quick for you all to catch on to what's going on here. All right, now we've got it where 3 more expressions and they continue on forever out through here. So we've got 5x plus 3, 10x plus 2, 15x plus 1. This is a sequence. Something's going on where you can keep figuring these. You don't just have to guess. You can figure the 40th term out here if you have to. So let's see what's going on here. On each one of these, 5x, 10x, 15x, it's obviously going to be a difference. It's not a ratio, it's a difference. So the x's, they're going up. So it's going to be positive 5x. Now let's look at the number, the constant here at the end. Plus 3, plus 2, plus 1. Those are going down each time. It's going down by a factor of 1. So the difference there is minus 1. So for this sequence, the difference is 5x minus 1. So you can figure this out. The next one is going to be plus 5x. It's going to be 20x. And if you subtract 1, it's going to be minus 0. The next one, real quick, is going to be 25x minus 1. 30x minus 2. See how that works? You can keep using this formula, this expression, to figure out the next term. All right, next sequence. Minus 8x plus 1, negative 4x minus 4, 0x, that could have just been a 0, minus 5. All right, let's see what's going on here. Minus 8x to minus 4x. That means we're going to be adding 4x each time. Don't get confused on these numbers. You might want to put negative x, negative 4x, but it's not negative 4x. It's in this sequence, look, it goes up 4. Negative 8x, if you add 4x to it, is going to give you negative 4x. So it's plus 4x, and that works again here. Negative 4x, you add 4x to it, you get 0x. All right, and now let's see about the numbers. You got plus 1, minus 4, and this is supposed to be 9. All right, sorry about that. So, plus 1 minus 4. So that went down. That was, you subtracted 5. Then see, from negative 4 to negative 9, you subtract 5 again, and that's your answer, right? D equals 4x minus 5. All right, I'm going to go over just some basics of when you multiply square roots times each other. Here we got a sequence, 6, 6 square root of 3, and 18. All right, when you multiply square roots times each other, watch this. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2 equals 2. The square root of 126 times the square root of 126 equals 126. See how that works? Any square root times itself equals the number without the square root sign. This is an important section, so I don't want to gloss over this. So look at these 3 numbers. What do I have to multiply 6 by to make it 6 times the square root of 3? So, I mean, that's pretty obvious. 6 times the square root of 3 gives you 6 square root of 3. All right, let's see if that works for the next one. I'm going to multiply, now I'm just looking at this one, all right? I'm just looking at the middle one. 6 times the square root of 3. I'm sorry, let me make that, okay? 6 square root of 3 times, okay, the first one we multiplied by the square root of 3. So 6, if I multiply square root of 3 times the square root of 3, that becomes 3. Times 6 equals 18. So I found out what the ratio, the R, the thing I multiply this by, I multiply each time by the square root of 3. We're going to play with this a few times so you can see. All right, next sequence actually is pretty decent. I think y'all will see this one real quick. What do I have to multiply the square root of 2 by to get 2? All right, I have to multiply it by the square root of 2. So 2 times the square root of 2 equals 2. All right, let's see if that works for the next one. 2 times the square root of 2 equals, yep, 2 times the square root of 2. Key is just knowing that the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 equals 2. One of the things you benefit from this test is I'm giving you 2 shots at each question, and it's multiple choice. So if you get the first one wrong, you've got a chance at getting the question right. All right, this is the toughest kind of question that's in this Delta Math section. You might not even get one. I think when I was thumbing through it and doing some of the problems, I only saw 2 of these. So here's the sequence: 14, 2 radical 7, 2 square root of 7, and then 2. All right, they give you the 4 answers down in the lower left-hand corner. So the one thing you can do is, this one's going to be multiplication. So I'm just going to multiply it out and see if this works. All right, 14, I'm going to start with A, times the square root of 7 over 7. If I do the math on that, first thing I notice is that the 14 and the 7 cancel. All right, this becomes 2, this becomes 1. I multiply straight across, I get 2 square root of 7 over 1. Over 1, and when it's over 1, it's the same, you can just ignore it. So that works. Now let's see if it works again for the second one. I've got 2 square root of 7, that's this one here. All right, I'm going to multiply it by the square root of 7 over 7, which is still A. All right, I multiply this across. Square root of 7 times the square root of 7 is 7. All right, so 2 times 7 is going to give me 14. Multiplying straight across gives me 7. 14 divided by 7 gives me 2. So yeah, I don't have to go any further. I tried this square root of 7 over 7. I multiplied it by the 14. Then I multiplied it by this. And just so you'd know, if I was going to go even further, I would multiply 2 times the square root of 7 over 7, and that'll be your next term. All right, that's pretty much all I've got on this. Like I said, you got 2 chances at each question. Make sure that you write down what you've answered. You don't want to answer the same thing wrong twice in a row. But I think you'll get through this. This problem here on this page, this is an exception. This isn't a regular problem. Most of them are going to be like you did last time, or going to be like the ones I did prior to this. You are going to see some square roots. So remember, the key thing is the square root of a number times the square root of that number equals that number. All right, guys. Next video I post will be on Monday. You guys have a great weekend. Let me know if you have any questions.